Over the years, I've worked with a lot of people trying to break into the comics industry or get their graphic novel published or just making comics for fun. And most of them run into the same problems that waste time, problems that burn creative energy, and worst of all, problems that end up making bad comics in the process. And nearly every time it comes down to one thing. They've overlooked 12 critical commandments that really should be hardwired into every comic project. Now, today I want to walk you through the exact 12 things that have helped me start and actually finish multiple comic books and graphic novels that I've done for companies like Scholastic and Marvel, and even self-published like through Kickstarter. So where did these commandments come from and why are they so important? Well, after drawing over 1,000 comic pages over the span of decades, I started writing things down. Every hard lesson, every epiphany that I had, I'd write it down. Every moment that made me go, oh, that's how it works, I'd write it down. And over time, that messy list turned into 12 things that I never wanted to forget. These aren't just tips. They're principles I reach for whenever I'm stuck, whenever I'm second guessing, or whenever I'm just lost in the weeds of making comics. So whether you're starting your first comic or you're finishing your 5th comic, I hope these 12 commandments help you find your way through the chaos too. But before we dive into the commandments, if you're a comic artist struggling to finish the comic you started, or you find yourself getting lost in the weeds, or you're sitting on an idea and you have no clue where to begin with it, I'm running a 10-week course with my fellow comic artist, Sean Crystal, that I think will actually change the way you make comics forever. It's called Graphic Novel Pro, and enrollment for that closes at the end of the month. So you might want to hop on that. But if you're not sure you can commit to that, no worries. I've also got a free 6-video mini course that teaches you like a step-by-step process that will save you time. It's going to eliminate frustration, and it's also going to give you a ton of confidence to bring your comic to life. We're also going to give you more details on Graphic Novel Pro in that course as well. So if you want to jump up to the full graphic novel course, you can do that too. You'll find links for both of those below. Do check them out right now. Now, whether you're just making your first mini comic or you're deep into a full graphic novel, these 12 commandments are something to keep in mind. So let's jump right into it. Number 1, finish the comic. Now, most comic artists don't follow commandment number 1, and as a consequence, most comics don't get finished. That's why it's the most important. That's why it's first. Finishing your comic, though, isn't just about putting a comic out. It's also about your reputation. People don't remember half-finished ideas. What they remember is the person who shipped the thing. So when you finish, you separate yourself from 99% of creators, okay? And everybody knows it. Number 2, word balloons are king, okay? These are going in order of importance, right? So now we're getting into actual like tactical stuff that you got to do on the page. And since word balloons have the highest contrast on the page, the eye will be instinctively attracted to them. So for this reason, use them to enhance the flow of the page. A lot of comic artists forget to do that. They screw up the word balloons. Don't be that comic artist. Number 3, respect the Z. There is an unspoken rule in comics that they're read back and forth horizontally first and then top to bottom vertically second. Do not push against this, but let this instinct guide your compositions, okay? Don't think, oh, I'm just going to get fancy here and I'm going to have this panel be read before this panel. That's a mistake. It confuses people. Just respect the Z. Number 4, clarity over cool. Do not sacrifice clear storytelling for cool designs or layouts. It might be fun to draw. It might be cool to look at, but if it confuses the reader, if it slows down the story, it might not be worth it to put in your comic. As much as I love Jack Kirby, some of his pages got so chaotic that it gets kind of confusing to understand what exactly is going on. Clarity over cool. Number 5, use whatever tool works. Okay, whether it's digital or traditional, whether you're painting comics or you're making them with 3D models, I don't care. If it's getting the job done and contributing to you keeping commandment number 1, then keep using it. I used to get like frustrated that, no, my comic has to be drawn in ink on paper for it to like really count and to be cool, right? And what I found was that was just hindering me actually finishing comics, like having to get out the supplies and doing everything. So when I just got rid of that and said, I'm going to do my comics digitally and sit down and draw them when I have time and not have to worry about the setup and everything, the comics actually started getting finished. Pages started coming out, right? So use whatever tool works. Number 6, know the ending before you start. Okay, so this has a little bit more to do with the storytelling side of comics, but whether it's seeding the beginning with hints and setups, or it's adjusting the mushy middle of your story, figure out the ending first, and it will make every part of your job a little bit easier. This goes for if you're just working off a script somebody else wrote. Read it to the end first, right, before you start the comic, because it's going to help you have a better understanding and context of what the characters are doing and what you're doing. It's going to make the job a lot easier. Number 7, panels control pace. All right, this is important. Panels are the unit of time measurement in comics, so you can use that to your advantage. And a lot of times I see comic artists just doing really normal beat by beat comic panels, and you can mix that up and you could slow it down, you could speed it up just by changing the shape and the frequency of your panels. So remember that panels control pace. Number 8, sound effects or storytelling. Okay, do not neglect the beauty, artistry, and style of good sound effects and what they bring to your comic. Use them to enhance your story and flesh out the world you're building even more. I see a lot of comics where the sound effects are like an afterthought. You don't have to do that. You can actually use those as another tool in your belt for making comics just a really enriching experience. Number 9, every scene needs an establishing shot. Neglecting the establishing shot robs your scene of context and staging. And even worse, it confuses the reader. So always be asking yourself, did I establish where these characters are at, or am I going to establish it as a reveal? So don't forget to do the establishing shot. Number 10, comics aren't movies. Okay, comics are their own unique art form. So lean into that and do what can only be done on a comics page, right? Don't just think of them as storyboards for a movie, but make the pages beautiful. Bring some artistry to the panel design, to the page design, and just do something that you can't experience sitting in front of a TV screen. Okay, number 11, think theater stage, not movie set. Add just enough detail in your panels to get the point across. You don't need to flesh out every background with detail. The reader's imagination can fill in all the gaps. I used to think, I got to really knock out every little background here. But what I found is if you've done your job and you've established the setting with an establishing shot, you can really phone in some of the backgrounds because everyone's focused on the characters and in their mind they've filled in all those gaps. Okay, last one, number 12, color controls mood. Don't just slap color on your pages. Color isn't decoration, it is storytelling. So use color as a visual cue for the mood of each scene or for character development or for atmosphere. A little bit of color theory goes a really long way in comics. Now, of course, these aren't laws, they're guidelines. And like any good creative rule, they can be broken when the story demands it. Okay, and you'll see great comic artists breaking each one of these, except for the first one. But you'll see them breaking each one of these from time to time as the story needs it. But commandment number 1, that one is sacred. You cannot neglect or break that commandment, because every time you finish a comic, you're not just telling a story, you're proving to yourself that you can finish what you start. And the flip side of that is every unfinished project chips away at your confidence. It doesn't just make you feel bad, it rewrites your identity into someone who almost gets there but never does. But the moment you actually finish, the story changes. You become the kind of person who follows through, who gets stuff done, who actually makes comics. And that shift, well, that's the whole game right there. If you want help getting started on your comics and building creative momentum, don't forget, I put together a free 6-part video series designed to get you up and running on your next comic project. I'd love to have you join that. We've already got people going through it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback from it in emails and comments. It's based on the live workshops I've been doing, and it leads directly into Graphic Novel Pro. Okay, click on the links below to find out about both those things. Lastly, if you're looking at all these rules and thinking, these are great, I want to put these into effect, I just don't have time to work on my comic. I don't have room in my busy schedule to actually sit down and draw. If that's you, it actually might not be a time issue. It might be a problem with something else entirely. And I made an entire video about how to deal with time management problems. So if you want to learn about that, go watch this video. It is a game changer.